Thank you. Thank you. Please be seated. I'm not a judge anymore. You don't have to stand up when I walk into a room. But I like it. I mean, it's really very nice, and I appreciate it. And, you know, I appreciate being in a place where when people look at you, they actually smile at you. You know, I'm from Manhattan. I don't want to tell you what they do when they see me. It would take more than 20 minutes. But anyway, first of all, I want to thank Ralph Reed, and I want to thank all of you for being here. I want to thank Ralph for the tremendous organization that he has, that he brings us together all the time, because in numbers there is power. With knowledge there is power. And believe me, we've never needed that more than we need right now in 2020 in the presidential election. So, I love the title, Faith and Freedom. You know, without freedom, we can't exercise our faith. And without faith, we never really know what real freedom is. Faith is the light that gets us through the darkness. Apparently this isn't working. Oh, thank you. Faith is the light that gets us through the darkness. And faith is the light that allows us to see the truth. Now, I was raised Catholic. I went to Catholic schools, but I don't have any special training. But I always felt that the work that I did in law enforcement for 32 years as a prosecutor, a judge, and an elected DA was always about finding the truth. And the one thing that always infuriated me was when people lie. And that's why my last book is Don't Lie to Me. I hate it when people lie to me, but I got news for you. They are lying to you all the time. And by lying to you, they're playing a game. It is a war of the titans. And you and me are nothing more than the forgotten. It is a war about power. It is a war between the establishment. And it's now a war against Donald Trump because he was never a part of their establishment. Trying to find out the truth is always difficult. There's no magic test. It's subjective. There's no litmus test. When I would charge a jury and they'd ask me what credibility was and what it meant, I would say it depends. How did the person speak? Did it make sense to you? Did it tie in with the other evidence? Did it ring true? You are the final arbiters of the truth. And the problem in America today is that the mainstream media is tied in to the Democrats and their left-wing agenda, so Americans have to really dig and dig to find the truth. But fortunately, we have a president. We have a man who's in it, not because his family was in it, not because he's a legacy or he's worked for the last 20 years to be president, but because he believes in America and he is fighting for us. He is the only thing that stands, in fact, between them and us. He is the only thing that separates those who want to keep us in our basement, open our borders, defund the police, and take our guns. Now think about that. Where did this idea of defund the police come from? I mean, who even thinks like that? You want to defund the police? Now, I've worked with police for 30 years. I had 50 cops who were assigned to me when I was the DA. They are the most decent, hardworking, caring individuals you'll ever meet, and we should thank God that they get up every day and leave their families to work for people they don't even know. They are our defenders. They allow us to be free. They protect and defend us. But no, the left wants you to think that they are serial racist murderers. Well, I'm here to tell you that's hogwash. That's a bunch of baloney that is teed up and bought and paid for by the left. And it's not just the left, it's the left, the progressive, the leftist, the socialist. They're all coming for you. They're coming for America. They want this country and they want to take it down. Now, do you remember when we first heard Chaz and Chop and all that crazy nonsense? The thing that struck me was when they put anti-America. This is the anti-America. Say what? What don't you like about America? We have free speech. We have freedom of religion. We have the right to have a weapon. We have the right to be protected. The Fourth Amendment, the Fifth Amendment, the Sixth Amendment, the 14th Amendment. What don't you like? They hate America. They hate what America is about. And they are convincing our children, and you wonder where this is coming from? They've been in the schools for years with this 1619 project nonsense. It's nonsense where they're teaching our kids to hate America, that America has its genesis in a racist takeover of this country, and that there's nothing good about America. And thank God we have a president who came out and said, all right, you got 1619, I got 1776. Deal with it. Deal with it. That's right, deal with it. This is who we are. This is America. America is the best. It is the brightest. It is the citadel on the hill. It is the country that people come to. They risk their lives to come here, and they fight like hell if we want to send them back to where they came from. You're damn right America's great, and don't you dare tell my kids it ain't. I spent 30 years in the trenches where the fight between good and evil unfolded. Every day, I saw the ugliest part of life, the pain that people went through for no reason. They didn't do anything. They didn't ask for it, and all of a sudden, all hell broke loose on them. They became a victim of a crime. Their family, their loved ones, their friends, the community, the ripple effect went on and on. And they call it the criminal justice system. Why do you call it the criminal justice system? The criminal is the one who chose the victim. The criminal is the one who decided to take advantage, to harm, to rape, to steal, to burgle, to whatever they might have done to kill the victim. I think it should be called the victim's justice system. The victim who did nothing other than try to live their life, and yet we have the Fourth Amendment and the Fifth Amendment and the Sixth Amendment. It's all about the criminal. So you may be sitting there and you may be saying, so why is Jeanine talking about crime? I think there's more crime going on in Washington than there is in courtrooms across this country in America. I think that the lies that go on in courtrooms are nothing compared to the lies that are going on in Washington. And I think that our criminal justice system is what sets our mores and our standards and our values. Because once that is gone, as a nation, we are gone. And that's what they want. They want to defund the police. They want to abolish ICE. They want to trash the police, demoralize the police. I know these men and women. I've worked with these men and women. They cry when they see children who are victimized. They cry when a little child runs up to them and grabs their leg and said, "Why did daddy kill mommy?" They have to deal with it. They are the social workers and the psychologists. But the left, whoa. The left wants to tell you, we need to take a psychologist and a social worker to go with the police to make sure, I think the exact words were, so the police don't harm anybody. Are you stupid? So the police don't harm anybody? Are you kidding me? First of all, that social worker doesn't know what she's getting into when she gets between a gun and someone else who's got a gun, other than get in trouble. All right? So let's stop the nonsense and get back to right and wrong and good and evil and law and order. Nonsense. It's nonsense. You want to defund them? You want to give money to somebody else? You want to give the money to the schools? That's great. By the way, what the hell have the schools been doing with the money they got from last year? Now they can't open up because they don't have enough money. Don't you have money from last year you didn't use? What do I know? I'm not in Congress. All right. I want to talk about religion a little bit. It's hard for me. It's hard for me. Have you ever met a president who did what he said and did what he said he was going to do and said what he was going to do? No. We get this outsider who's got nothing to gain and everything to lose, and every day he fights. Every day he gets attacked. And I've known the man for 35 years. My then husband was his lawyer. Donald Trump would call at all hours of the day and night. The man never slept. I knew this a long before you did. Is Al there? Is Al there? Like, whoa. And to fly down. My kids were little. His kids were little. We'd fly together. He is a decent, hardworking, caring man, and he's a father. He is a good father, and the proof of that pudding, by the way, is in his kids. So here you've got Donald Trump. He comes out and he says what Carter said, what Obama said, what Bush said, that he was going to move the embassy to Jerusalem. Did any of those bozos do it? No. Did Donald Trump do it? Yes. Because he does what he says he's going to do. Donald Trump said he was going to get us to the point where we could actually say Merry Christmas again. And we did. We did. So now I go into a store and I look at the clerk and I say, Merry Christmas. And I look right at them. They don't know what to say. They're so scared. Not of me, of course, but we can't be afraid. We cannot be afraid. There's too much at stake. Look at what the left wants. First-term abortion, second-term abortion, third-term abortion. When I was a prosecutor, I'll tell you what I called it: infanticide. If we give mothers the right after a baby is born to make that baby comfortable, and then the mother has a chance to think with an up or down, like the emperor in the Roman Colosseum, to say, I don't think so, not today. Then as a civilization, we are lost. We are lost. Under Donald Trump, that will not happen. Under Donald Trump, we had all kinds of improvements, whether it was the Mexico City policy, the Johnson Amendment, making sure that he funded those institutions that supported what we do, not destroyed what we believe in. But the other administrations like Obama, oh no. How dare you practice your First Amendment religious freedom? He took the little sisters of the poor, the Little Sisters of the Poor. They're poor. They help people who are poor. Hospice, ill patients. He took them to the United States Supreme Court. He dragged them through the system because he wanted to subjugate their religious rights to the rights of employees to get abortifacs and contraceptives. Well, that's not his right, and so said the United States Supreme Court. So I'm here to tell you, religion is on the ballot this year. The Constitution is on the ballot. The First Amendment, free speech. You are losing it as sure as I am standing in front of you. Because if you say something that they deem politically incorrect, or you don't even know it was politically incorrect, you are canceled. You are canceled, and you often lose your job because people are triggered by your presence. They're triggered by you. Nonsense. And let's talk about this pandemic. And God willing, the president will pull through this. Our prayers are with him right now, and the First Lady, for all of them. But let's talk about the pandemic, all right? What they said was, you got to stay in the basement. Okay, stay in the basement, all right? But wait a minute. You need to buy booze. It's okay. You can go. Go ahead. You need to buy a little weed? No problem. Open the door. They go. All right? You want to go to the movie theater? Beep, they can go. You want to go gamble a little bit at the casino? No problem. But don't you dare go to church. That is a violation of our First Amendment right of religious freedom. The United States Supreme Court came out and said the casinos can open in Nevada, the movie theaters can open in Nevada, but the church is no more than 50 people. What is going on? So we need Amy Coney Barrett on the United States Supreme Court. Get her on and do it fast. Fast. She is a woman who understands her role as a judge. She is impeccable, of impeccable intellect, experience. She's already been confirmed by the Senate, a Seventh Circuit Court of Appeals judge, to be a justice soon. And let me tell you something. In the beginning, I was worried. I was like, oh my God, if they do to her what they did to Kavanaugh. Ooh. But then I listened to the tape when Dianne Feinstein said, your religious dogma or your dogma lives loudly within you. She's from California, whatever. So her answer, and she didn't skip a beat. She said, dogma lives loudly within all of us. Okay? But I know my role as a judge. It is to follow the law and apply the law and precedent. She has the mettle and the smarts, and she can deal with it, and the sooner they get it done, the better. So, there's only one thing left, and that's the Trojan horse. In this war, because we're in the fight of our lives, in this war, there's a Trojan horse. He's called Joe Biden. 2 weeks ago, Kamala Harris talked about the Harris administration with Joe Biden as president. The next day, Biden reads, the Harris administration doesn't even click that he just said the Harris administration, all right? Sometimes you need to believe people when they tell you who they are. This Harris administration will be the worst thing that can happen to this country. She is the most leftist senator in the United States Senate. The socialists will take over. AOC will be in charge of the Green New Energy deal, and I don't care what Biden said at the debate the other night. The bottom line is this. We're in the fight of our lives. It's a fight between truth and justice and law and order. And the Constitution is on the ballot, religion is on the ballot, and your freedom is on the ballot. So get out there, get everyone you know, and get out and vote for President of the United States, as well as Doug Collins for Senate. God bless.
I'm not quite sure where you stand on things. So we're going to have a little interview to figure it out. First of all, I'm going to announce this again when we're done, but this is Jeanine's new book, Don't Lie to Me. She's going to be in the back signing it as soon as we're done. First of all, on behalf of not only the people who are here, Judge, but our over 2 million members, thank you for what you are doing. Thank you for your voice.
No, thank you. Thank you for what you do, Ralph.
And I really mean it, because you've shown a lot of courage, and it has not been without personal cost. They've come after you, and I just want you to know we've got your back.
Thank you. And
you
you
got
always
a lot of
have.
friends in this room.
You have. And thank you to all of you. I know what you're talking about.
You know, you talked, I know how close you are to the president and to his family, and you talked a little bit about it in your speech. I don't want you to violate a confidence or anything like that, but I had the privilege much later, about 10 years ago, to get to know him. I first met Ivanka and Jared, and I told my wife, Joanne, after I met Ivanka, I'm going to have to change my opinion of Donald Trump.
Interesting, yeah.
And when we were in North Carolina together with the North Carolina Faith and Freedom, you talked about this. Could you elaborate a little bit on what it was that struck you about the family, about him?
Yeah.
Because you knew a Donald Trump that most people don't ever get to know.
Yeah, I knew him, as I said, 30, 35 years ago. And I just remember walking down the street with him in Manhattan. And if he saw a cop, he would stop to see and say hello to the cop. And everybody was attracted to him because everybody knew Donald Trump. And if it was a hard hat, he would stop. He would talk to them. He was he was polite. He was very friendly to everyone. If we went to a restaurant for dinner, I mean, he'd pay the bill, but then he'd go into the kitchen. And he'd say hello and thank you to everyone in the kitchen. This is long before, nobody even thought about president. And one of my favorite stories that I tell, and I don't know if it's this book or Liars, Leakers, or whatever, whichever one, but I talk about the fact that we used to fly down to Mar-a-Lago with him every weekend. And we had our own little house in Florida, and he had Mar-a-Lago. Obviously, our kids were little. Yeah, little, big. Anyway, so I remember one day he said to the kids, okay, when we get off, we're going to have to go to Kmart to get your school supplies. So I'm sitting there, I'm reading my book, and I thought my eyes were going to fall out of my head. I said, did Donald Trump just say he's going to Kmart? And and then, he would say to the kids, you're losing your allowance. Don't ever talk to her that way again. Very calm. You don't talk to him. You don't talk to her that way. You're losing the allowance. He was just very low key, when he was reprimanding the kids and the family. It was a different one. It was a different Donald Trump than the caricature they make him out to be. And you know what? He's fired up because every day they come at him. And I see Donald Trump as a guy who goes into the lion's den. He comes out with a pelt over his shoulder and his tie straight. He loves it, That's the Donald Trump I know. He loves a fight. It's something about New York. I don't know. Maybe it's the water. I don't know.
Now, you had such a distinguished legal career, but now you're in the media.
Yeah.
And what has happened to the media in this country? They're not even pretending to be referees anymore. They basically don the other team's jersey. And what's your take on it? How has this happened? How should we be thinking about it, and what should we do about it?
You know, Ralph, that's the question that I don't have the answer to, but I know what I do. You know, if you watch certain networks, you only get anti-Trump information. Everything is hate Trump, right from when he won. I mean, it was like, this wasn't an evolution of, oh, he's a horrible person. It's like he went from superstar, where everyone wanted to touch him everywhere we went, to, oh, he's the enemy. He is running for president as a Republican. Oh, he's a disgusting human being. And that's all it took. These people will sway like the wind. But I think the important thing for people to do is to read as much as you can and to find out as much as you can. And organizations and groups like this, what you do, Ralph, is so important. You need people who are willing to speak freely. What the left has done, they've created a system where everyone's afraid to talk. You're afraid you're going to get fired. And that's what's going on. You're going to lose your job if you wear a MAGA hat. Look at Nicholas Sandmann, the poor kid who went to Washington, and his lawyer, Lynn Wood, who ended up suing all of the networks, already settled with the Washington Post, I believe in CNN. He's got 5 more to go. Why? Because he was at a pro-life rally wearing a MAGA cap. He didn't do anything. They hate. And we've got to learn. I mean, I'm a Christian too. I get it. You know, turn the other cheek. Enough. All right? Enough. Sorry. I'm going to get in trouble. I'm in trouble with my mother, all right?
And, you know, it's so funny you tell the story about the restaurant and him going back to the kitchen.
Oh, yeah.
What do you think explains that common touch where he wasn't getting, you know, the expensive diners, but he was getting all the people who were working in the kitchen? You know, he may not get the person in the $5 million condo, but the doorman, you know, and...
Oh, they loved him.
Yeah.
They loved him.
Where does that come from? And do you think that his populism is going to have a permanent impact on the Republican Party and on our politics?
First of all, to answer the last question, absolutely, it will have a permanent impact. I think where he got it from is he is a man who was a builder. You know, he works from scratch. He starts with nothing. He works with builders and architects and zoning people. And he works, I mean, think about it, New York City. You want to talk about a cutthroat city. To be in the building business in New York City with the unions and everything else going on there, he's got a personal touch that starts in the ground, in the dirt, and it builds it up to these classic buildings, always underbid, always earlier than it's supposed to be. I mean, he's a winner. The guy's a winner. And he's going to beat this COVID, too.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then win on November 3rd.
Oh, yes. Yes.
Now, after Amy Coney Barrett, our organization, as you know, is working very hard on her confirmation.
Yeah.
I just want to know, is there any way that we could have Judge Jeanine Perot become Justice Jeanine Perot?
No. You know, the president wants someone who can put 30 or 40 years on the bench. And Amy is in her early 40s. She can do that. And, you know, look at Ginsburg. She was there till she was 87. And, you know, that's what we need. We need to cement the conservative legacy for decades to come.
Yes. Amen. Well, Jeanine, thank you so much.
Thank you.
She's going to be signing her book in just a little bit. Thank you for all you do, Judge.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.